Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of the NJ Multi-Species Podcast. I am Joe Santiago and my partner, Chris Pereira. Uh,
Uh,
it, it's been a very interesting week, especially on the Mayhem page. Um, the outpouring of chaos that has ensued on that Facebook group is just unbelievable. Um, we're
well,
not.
maybe just if we could just take 1 second and clear up a little bit of the confusion. So we have a Facebook
Page.
page, which is a group, and then we
No,
have.
no, you messed it up. We have a
Well, I
Facebook.
don't.
The Facebook page is NJ Multi-Species Podcast. The only thing you could do to that is like it, and I post the episodes there. That's it. That's all that does. The group is the private group NJ Multi-Species Mayhem Fishing. It's a private interactive group for everyone, and there's almost 400 members in it already. That's where the picture contest is going on. And
Right.
that's the separation. Inside that group, you could post your own pictures, you could put up polls, you could vote for stuff. There's also, so after last week's episode, how we had the talk about spot burning and should we release this video? And me and Chris are thinking, we got a lot of emails, and some said, yeah, if you release the videos, you're a spot burner. And other people said you should give back. So me and Chris came up with the idea. We did release the videos, but only into that private group. So if you go into that private group, Multi-Species Mayhem Fishing, you're going to see content inside that group that you won't see outside. Everyone's having a blast with this video of me stuck in the mud on the Passaic River. You can only see that inside the group for now. So there's a lot of stuff in the group.
That's worth the price of admission right there.
It
and
is.
The admission is $0.
You get to see me stuck in the mud dying for free while Dwayne just laughs at me. It's great. It's worth joining. But
yeah, and this is going to be probably where we run most of our contests through in the future as well.
the
Right.
multi-species mayhem fishing page group is basically interactive with the podcast. Everything that goes on this podcast will be discussed, posted, and talked about on that group. That's where it's going to be.
Right, and you can kind of join the discussion as an afterthought there.
Absolutely.
And continue it.
Absolutely. I did. I put up a picture on Instagram of me with a shad last year, and I said, who's ready for the shad run? And about 17 people posted inside Multi-Species Mayhem, like, the shad run's almost over, you moron. Like, just, so there is a lot of info in there, like, I don't know what's up with that either, because I've been shad fishing my whole life. And I not my whole life, but I always wait till like the last 2 weeks of May. Apparently, like I'm way off, I guess. But I
Well, you got to keep in mind that you don't know who's answering you where they're fishing. Right. So if you used to fish way up north in Delaware River, obviously that's going to be later down the line.
But I do. I do fish way up north. But the Bollinger brothers came. The Bollinger brothers came on and said to me right away. They said they're way past that already.
Yeah, you're about 2 weeks behind.
All right. Well, I'm still.
I was just trying to help you out.
I'm still on episode. I'm still only on episode 5. I haven't watched the podcast yet. I'm catching up. So yeah, the picture contest inside there is crazy. The one picture of Chris with the muskie, that's the top leader in a dead heat with Justin Lerner's 31-inch brown trout. Those are like the top 2 in the adult division.
These guys, you guys from New Jersey, are going to let a guy who moved to Florida beat you guys? This is crazy.
Well, you have Ed there. The picture with Ed Hutter's muskie is very close. He's trailing by only like 7 likes currently. And the picture of Bruce Litton's kid with the brown trout on Round Valley, that's up there too, right in it.
Like, look, you got to get your friends in there to vote for you. That was the whole thing. You're trying to engage everyone, as many people as we can. So you still have a little bit of time when this goes up to air before the contest actually ends.
I don't think we're actually going to let Justin. Like, if Justin Lerner ends up winning, we're just going to delete the picture and pretend he never existed. Like, we're just not letting him win. He can come fishing with us anytime he wants. What does he want to win for?
You should have put it in the rules. You must be a New Jersey resident. We didn't think of it.
Maybe he doesn't want to fish with us. Like, he's going to fly back in from Florida, go on his guided trip with them, and just leave, not see us at all. Is that what this is all about?
That's probably it, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, the Ed Hutter muskie is up there. That's pretty much like the top four that are pulling away. There's other ones that are coming up. People are still posting pictures, and they're gaining traction fast. So I don't really know where this is going to finish. It's going to just be crazy. But I know you had
one more thing.
Your Merrill Creek news.
No, before you jump up to that, I just want to say that just a reminder about the prerequisites to the contest. Like, when the contest is over and we pick out both winners, the ones with the most votes, and then everyone else in the random drawing, as soon as you're picked as a winner, we're checking to see if you met the prerequisites.
Oh,
if you don't, that's it. You're disqualified. You can't after the fact do it. That defeats the purpose. So make sure you meet the prerequisites. Make sure you're following the Lake Hopatcong Guide Service page, and make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel.
And
our YouTube channel.
Just to add that it's Tristan DeVries. He's leading the children's division he has about 60. Like, he's even way ahead of all the adults too. So, cool. He's way ahead as of now. So that's all I have to
make
say.
A kids category.
What's that?
I said, I guess you didn't even have to make a kids category if kids going to beat the adults anyway.
I didn't plan on that. I kind of made the kids category to ensure that a kid would win, but it seems like this kid's going to beat everyone anyway. So, and
well,
I mean, I mean, all I could do is vote once. It's not like I could cheat the contest, but mine personally is Litton's kids brown trout from the shore on round. I mean, to have a kid catch a fish like that from shore, to me, that's that kid should win. But like I said,
once we get enough members, enough people participating and stuff, we'll do different kind of contests where you actually vote for the nicest fish picture, or even a fish picture.
Everyone that entered a picture is still going to go on the wheel Thursday night, so everyone still has a chance to win, correct?
Correct. Yeah, and we'll always try to design these contests so that there is kind of like a consolation way of winning as well as winning, the main prize. But this first one, we're just still testing it out too. So, we said bear with us. It's going pretty well. It's probably going to be a crap ton of work for Joe to sort through it. I'm not going to help him, but
it's just a lot of names to put on a wheel, but I'll type them in.
Yeah, we'll figure out better ways to do this in the future, and we'll definitely, like I said, have different kinds of contests where you actually have to catch the nicest size fish or some
I do like those.
Particular species or something.
I like those bounty paper, those bounty paper tournaments. I love that. I love those.
Yeah, you know what? I have a lot of experience in the past, doing these online contests where you kind of use a number tag that you're not given beforehand.
Yep.
And everything's kind of based off the length of the fish, and you got to take a picture of it on a ruler or whatever. We'll do all kinds of stuff. We just need to make sure the participation is going to be there. You know what I mean?
Well, now I guess we're going to start talking about what tonight's podcast is going to be about. And I'm going to just...
Can I hit the Merrill Creek news first?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So just real quick on the Merrill Creek front. So this week, on May 1st, they went ahead and implicated their new hours that we were trying to fight. But the good news is we have heard from the mayor's office of the town over there in Harmony, and they apparently have been negotiating, and they haven't reached a final agreement, but he made it seem as if they are going to increase the hours. I don't know what that means exactly. It didn't sound like it's going to go back to full sunrise to sunset hours, but at least it's a start. It seems like they're going to get hours added onto it in some way. We got to wait and see. But, thanks to everyone who, signed the petition and everything. And, it definitely made a difference. Not sure how much yet, but we're still working on it. And
it's better.
It's a little bit of good news.
It's
yeah, exactly. And but for this month, the new hours are in place, and it opens at 7 and closes at 5:30, unfortunately. But hopefully it doesn't go past this month.
Okay. So moving on. When me and Chris decided to start this podcast, as much as the podcast revolves around fishing information and Skillful Angler, which, by the way, I have no update for that because the board hasn't been updated yet, I did get a response from him on some fish that I entered, so they did get entered, but the leaderboard hasn't been changed yet. So the whole point was to build a community of fishermen that would all be willing to work together, that would there would be a place where you could ask for volunteers, bring people on the show that could help give information, how to enter clubs and enter tournaments and how they fish the tournaments and what it's like to fish, just everything like that. But on top of that stuff, there's always going to be your controversial topics. And one thing we're trying to do with the podcast and our page, our group, is not censor it, because the community of the fishermen is built up of us, and it's built of our opinions. You have one opinion and I have another one. For me to shut your opinion down, it wouldn't be right. So there's going to be controversial topics on here. We're going to have people on here discussing catch and release versus killing everything. Fly fishermen versus spin fishermen. People get heated. Now, something that came up on the inside the multi-species mayhem fishing group was these clubs. And there were people saying they don't fish the tournaments because the tournaments are fixed. They gave a lot of reasons why. And some guys from within the clubs answered back. And that's how it should be. Like, they gave their opinion, you gave it back. And we're going to try to find the happy medium so we could see both sides to the story. And yet, we understand the right now the fishing clubs in New Jersey, they're dying. Their membership's way down. They're not doing good. We think that we have some ideas as to why that's going on, and there could be things to improve that. And we need younger people getting back involved, because most of it now is still, the older guy. The younger guys are not getting involved as much. So, not to get into all right, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I can tell you right now what most people are thinking, and they're right. I mean, younger people are not joining these clubs. Main reason, I'll tell you right now, is because these clubs are not staying up with the times as far as being digital.
I agree. 100%. Right?
And what I mean,
absolutely right.
What I mean by that is you can't join the club through their site. You can't, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but at least the clubs that I know can't join digitally, can't sign up online just with your credit. You got to actually Get a form, fill it out, put a check, put cash, pay the guy up like at the bait shop or whatever. Like, you can't do this simply.
I'm not doing it.
And
I'm not driving an hour and a half on a Thursday night to go to a meeting at 8 o'clock at night. I have kids, they're involved in sport. I'm not doing that. Like, if you
right,
put it
and
on
I mean,
Zoom, I'll sit here and watch the meeting. I'll talk through the Zoom. Like, people can't do that stuff. It's I don't know, like it's just I and when I first presented the idea, it was thrown back at me that, oh well, if you release all the info on the podcast, then no one will go to the meetings. No one goes to the meetings anyway. They're
well,
empty.
yeah, I almost want to say, well, who cares if they're there in person at these meetings? What are they getting out of that? Like, I think sometimes they have raffles or something. I don't know. They have ways of raising money because these are all non-profit organizations. Like, any money they make goes right back into the club. It goes right back into the lake for one purpose or another. But it's like if their main concern is people physically going to these meetings, then I'm sure they could have some reason to get people there, but it shouldn't stop them from also offering digital ways to donate, digital ways to join the club and pay your dues, digital ways to watch the meetings. Like, if someone's watching it virtually because they live an hour and a half away versus not going at all because they don't want to drive there just for whatever it is that night. I don't get it's a no-brainer to me.
Well, the other thing that came up on that inside the group is the cheating, and a lot of people seem to be deterred on the cheating. I want to just touch base on the cheating thing. I have fished the Round Valley Trout Association tournaments. Um, Everyone launches from the same boat launch. Everyone's hanging out in the parking lot before that, setting their boats up. Um, and everyone just sits in the cove until the whistle blows. I mean, as far as someone wrote, people are culling dead fish. That's not true at all. Not that I've ever seen. I've never seen that. I've heard of
Well, I mean,
people purposely killing lake trout, but not anything to do with the RVTA
well,
or a
right.
tournament.
I mean, as far as the clubs themselves go, I'm absolutely certain they're doing their best to make sure these contests are legit. I don't think that's what's the problem is here. I think the problem is, and it doesn't matter if, hear me out on this, it doesn't matter if someone in the contest is actually cheating or not. What matters is if everyone in the contest feels comfortable that there's enough deterrence and ways to stop cheating that it probably isn't happening. You get what I'm saying? So,
I mean, I look at the tournament results, and like you could see from the Knee Deep Club this past weekend, Rob Gatos won with a 23.5-inch pickerel. I mean, I'm not bashing that fish, but that's not even a skillful angler size pickerel, and it won. So, to me, if that tournament is being cheated, there wasn't a cheater that could just easily have come up with a bigger pickerel than that. Like it seems too normal to me to be cheated. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just
like I
it's
said, I'm not saying, obviously, I don't think he cheated,
no,
right?
no. I'm saying
And
I think if there was cheaters involved, he would not win with that fish. I think
well,
him winning with that
I
fish
mean,
shows me there's no cheaters. Because if you're cheating and
well,
all you could come up with is a like a legal sized fish like that, you're not a good cheater at all.
well, if you're trying to cheat in a contest to begin with, I'd have to argue that you're a piece of shit and you're probably terrible at fishing to begin with.
Well, just
So
like
I don't think
the
well, I
kid.
don't think it's that too far stretched to think that someone who would want to cheat in that contest couldn't catch a pickerel bigger than the one that won. I'll just say that.
I'm saying if there were that many cheaters, they would have cheated him out of it. Very easy.
Well, look, there's not, like anything else, nothing's 100% true, nothing's 100% false. Like, there's definitely not a ton of cheating going on, but there definitely has at some point been some cheating here and there. There's
sure.
no doubt in my mind. Now,
Well, he just had those guys up in New York, the walleye, the big walleye contest that they shove the weights down their throat. So, I mean, we know it happens.
And the thing is, now, if there's other people doing that on that walleye circuit, after that, now they're going to think twice. Now there's going to be less cheating, right? So I think what needs to happen is there needs to be as many deterrents as possible put in place to prevent the cheating to begin with, right? So when you said the RVTA contest, right? Me and you and I did one last year, and I remember sitting there, like everyone starts at the same time, like you said, and I just remember thinking, aren't they going to look in our live well? Like they're not going to check our live well? Wouldn't that have been something very simple to do when everyone checks in and they go to put their boat in? Oh, just open your live well. Okay, you don't have a fish in there from the other day that you kept alive. Just real quick, everyone, you just open your live well.
Well, I mean, the fish doesn't technically have to be alive, though, so it could be hidden anywhere it could be under the floorboard. You would have to search the whole boat to do that. I mean,
well, then to add to that deterrent, you require the fish be in a certain condition to count. You know, like not just to, you know, if you can keep a fish, I think anyone would want to keep a big fish alive to release after a contest if possible. But that being said, if you're in a contest and you catch a really big fish and you can't keep it alive, I don't think too many people would release that fish without weighing it in. You know what I mean? But basically, my point is add these deterrents in. It's not 100% foolproof, but the more deterrents you have, the more comfortable people are.
I'm going to say this. If you're interested in joining the Knee Deep Club or the RVTA, do not let any rumors of cheating be a deterrent of you joining. But I will warn you of this.
I agree with that, but you just saying that isn't going to change someone's mind.
I understand that, but I fish the tournaments. I'm going to tell you, listen, even before this, if we're not talking about fishing tournaments, just being down there, the one day I was down there, me and one other boat on the reservoir. All right, he's down in the back end, I'm in like the middle. We're just fishing. It's not a tournament, normal day fishing. We come both into the boat launch at about sunset. He says, "How did I do?" I ask him, "How did he do?" He did a lot better than me. Turns out this guy's name's Reddy Selassie. Everyone knows he won Fisherman of the Year. I didn't even know who he was at the time.
Pretty sure you just butchered his name, but all right.
I did? What's his name? Reddy Selassie.
I thought it was Solari.
Solari?
Maybe I'm wrong.
All right, we'll look up your name. We'll look your name up, Reddy. So anyway, this guy don't even know me. We start talking. He's telling me, what flies that I should be trolling. He starts telling me what spoons to buy. Now, this guy knows I'm fishing in the tournaments, and he's fishing in the tournaments. Here he is standing at the dock. He's telling me everything. He's telling me, he's trying to help me out. He's showing me this. He's showing me that. And then he said, buy this. And then actually the lure he told me to buy is the one that we caught the 13-pound lake trout on. So The point is just being like when you go down to fish a RVTA tournament, it is not like a trout derby at the local pond. These boats are rigged up with thousands of dollars in fishing shit that is just specifically for Round Valley. You might go down there with a bucket of shiners and get lucky once. Everyone gets lucky. But these guys, I mean, if you go down there, you're gonna get beat up. You're just gonna get beat up. They know what they're doing. So maybe a lot of these rumors start from people just getting their ass kicked by these guys, and on the way home they're saying fuck them, they're cheaters, and that's how it starts. Because I will tell you this: if you want to fish down there, you better have some serious firepower on your boat. You better be able to troll a lot of rods at one time. If not, you just can't compete with them. So I think that plays into it a lot too. I think guys are saying, "Well, these guys are killing. It's the same guys every tournament." Yes, 10% of the fishermen catch 90% of the fish. Like that's just the way it is. So if you want to play with those guys, you have to be ready with the gear. Now if you go into knee deep, that gets more into a situation where you have a chance with the casting. You never know what could happen. Anybody could fish. When it's with the Round Valley thing, man, if you ain't doing the run that they're running, your odds are slim. So, I mean, that's just how it is. Do you have a chance?
I
You
mean,
could absolutely 100% win a tournament. Are you going to win Fisher Person of the Year? No, you have no chance. Zero.
well, yeah, but you just made a great point before you tried to scare everyone away.
I'm
Like
not
these
scaring
guys,
you away. I'm just letting you
these
know.
guys
Don't
will
think
help you.
don't think they will help you, but don't think they're cheaters. Them guys, they ain't cheating. They're really catching
No,
them fish like that.
if you think that just because you see the same guy's name over and over again that they're automatically a cheater, that's ridiculous.
No,
But
I get if I see Reddy's boat in the parking lot, I already know it's a problem for me. He runs 6 more rods than me. He knows more. He knows the spots better. If Ron DeGraff pulls up, same thing with him. I mean, he knows that place like DeGraff pulls out a photo album and you think he's on Ontario, but he's on Round Valley. I mean, that guy, he's got an album for, and now he's been fishing it with his daughter. Now you have the Yanetta guys that are crushing it. I mean, these guys know what they're doing, and they fish Round Valley. That's all they do. They fish Round Valley.
you know, like you said, these guys will give you little bits and pieces. They will help you. They're not. I've talked to Reddy. Reddy's pointed me in the right direction a couple of times before, and you were right about his name. I don't know why I thought there was an R in there, but
Thank you.
yeah, this is the first time Joe's ever been right, so you can
Now,
roll that back as many times as you need to.
Reddy will call and say, "You said it wrong."
Well, I don't know if you pronounced it right, but there is an S and not an R in there. I don't know, I messed that up. I only just ever called him Reddy. I never used his last name.
His name doesn't even matter. If you see his boat there, you're in trouble. That's all that matters.
No, the point is him and most of those other guys that will just own your ass on that lake are not above helping you. Like, just start a conversation with these guys. Just talk to them. Don't go on their post that you see on the internet and go, "Hey, where were you? What were you using?" No one's going to answer that.
You're right.
Start a conversation. Start a conversation with people. Just talk to people like a normal human being. That's it.
Well, I can say we're a little like defenseless because from the beginning of this podcast, as we offered everything to all the clubs and all the guide services, and we offered all these reports and interviews, we have gotten nothing but resistance from RVTA. So I'm having trouble getting access to RVTA members to actually come on here and defend the club. I'm blocked from the RVTA page, and I am no longer a member of the club. but I still support the club. It's unfortunate that it's just we're not even speaking to the right person. After I saw so when the podcast started, and I said to Chris, I said, you know what, we're gonna just ignore the RVTA. They're out. I'm gonna just do the podcast like they don't exist. But last week, after I saw the 16-year-old kid Yanetta win, and then saw he had a lure company, I made the decision that it's just not right. I'm not going to stonewall the RVTA. I'm not going to. The kid makes lures right here in Jersey. I mean, why would I spend money on Gary Yamamoto shit? This kid will make me, I could send him any color, he'll match it. Send him any rubber, he'll match it. Right here in Jersey, 16-year-old kid. Local business. It's the same applies when you need a bomber. Jeff Bezos doesn't need the money that much. Like, you could buy the bomber at Lori's at Dow's, and it might be $1 more, but she actually needs the money. Same as Sporting Life. You know, you don't have to get it from Amazon. You get it might cost $1 more, but we have to start supporting our local clubs and tackle. We just lost. Greenwood Lake Sports Center's gone. Frank's Bait and wasn't Frank's Bait and Tackle anymore. It's Tackle and Field. That's gone. Bait and Boat's gone. We're losing all our tackle shops. Now I'm going totally off topic here, but just while I'm on it, we have to try to stop Amazon and all this other shit, man. We have to buy local. Jigging World, Ramsey Outdoor, The Sporting Life, Dow's. It might cost $1 more, but these people need the business. Amazon does not need the business. They'll be fine. These little businesses are suffering.
Look, I'll order shit on Amazon if it's some kind of situation where the tackle shop by me didn't have it and I need it tomorrow or something like that. Like, you're never going to stop everyone from using it. That's not the point. But that extra $1 or $2 that it might cost you to go there, you're going to get your money's worth in that by becoming friendly with the bait shop owner. Okay? Like, I used to live closer to Dow's and I had the same relationship with Lori. Now I live closer to Sporting Life. I already kind of had these guys are awesome that run these shops, right? If I go in there and I'm looking for something, he's like, what do you need? And I tell him, he's like, you know what? I don't have that. Like, tell me exactly what it is and I will order it. So anything that I use frequently, he's going to order it and he's going to have it now when I need it. I can drive 8 minutes down the road and get it. I don't have to order it online. Right?
Even on top of that, like I was saying, you have the United kid makes his own lures. The Binsky, that's a Jersey-made lure. They're all mom and pop companies. That lip glue that Gen Wan uses, Signal 11 Lures, that's a Jersey-based company. Got to start trying to support local, man, because we're not going to even have a bait shop. Melser's is another one gone. They're disappearing. We're losing them. It's not
any of these shops, any of these, local businesses and stuff, go on our page and put whatever the hell you want there. Advertise your shit there. I don't care.
I agree.
Put it on. I mean, get something out of it. Let us know you want to come on the show. You want to promote something new, whatever.
All right, so we have two guests we're going to bring on tonight to try to defend the two clubs. I have Scott Tarnowski, who was a member of the Knee Deep Club for 15 years. It was a major part of his life when he still lived in Jersey.
VTA, not Knee Deep.
Oh, RVTA, not Knee Deep. I'm on. Kevin Cool's coming on after him to talk Knee Deep. Scott's here for RVTA. He wants to say his piece. I know he's mad. What he's going to say, I have no idea, and I'm not going to censor it, but like we said, we want to get everyone's opinion. He was in the club for 15 years with all of his friends, so I want to hear what he has to say. We were talking about why the numbers are dropping and how they could possibly bring the club back up, and just tossing around like ideas of what some of the problems might be. And then we were talking about the cheating rumors, which I just totally discredited, but I don't know. So you
I
can go
mean,
any direction you want. You know a lot more about this club than we do, and you could tell us.
no,
Well,
I
look,
mean,
look, Scott. Like, first of all, thanks for the wilderness hat. I appreciate it. And you know, like, we couldn't get anyone from the RVTA to come on and talk about the current status of this club, right? You were a
right.
big part of it, however many years ago, for what was it, 15 years, you said?
Yeah, off and on for about 15. I mean, I
So,
started with my dad when I was a kid and then got away from it for a little bit and then got pretty heavily involved in it before I moved up here. So, yeah, I think honestly, like any club out there right now, I mean, from gun clubs to fishing clubs to everything else, yeah, COVID has changed a lot, but not blaming it on that solely. We as RVTA, and I don't want to say we because I'm not on the board or anything anymore, but you know that club suffered pretty dramatically with the dam repairs and the lowering of the reservoir and people not wanting to deal with getting their trailers stuck in the mud and everything else. But it disheartens me. I know I've got a lot of good friends who are still active members and trying to do a lot of positive things in that club. And I know, a lot of past members who have gotten out for whatever reason, but those guys have dedicated their hearts and souls and every weekend and weeknights and meetings and spending money out of their own pockets for the stockings and everything. And then, you go on social media these days and it is what it is because it's easy for everybody to be a keyboard warrior kind of thing. But it's, everybody's got something negative to say about the club. I will tell you this. There is no Round Valley trout fishery without the RVTA. If it wasn't for RVTA, it would be a bunch of put and take 9-inch stockers from the hatchery. I mean, these guys do tremendous fundraising to, get the funds up to put the brown trout in there. What other public waterway do you know that's being stocked year to year with like trophy size brown trout? There's not one other than Spring Lake, which is for a kids derby that they
Like
do it.
like the brown that Litton's son caught from shore.
Correct. Now
right.
that fish is not in that lake without the RVTA. All the weekend Facebook heroes who are posting their pictures of browns from the shoreline are the same guys that are complaining about the RVTA and their tournaments. I mean, once a month, they're complaining about a tournament once a month at that lake. The dent that they put into the fishery in those tournaments is 0 to none. They consistently help the lake with their lake trout, the tournaments and take in as many lake trout as they could get out of there. It's what the lake needs. Why does the lake need the lake trout out? Because there's no natural food base in there. What does RVTA do? They have a bait fish fund. They raise money. They stock the bait fish in that lake. It's anybody that's against the club itself. I really can't even figure out if they're truly sportsmen or conservationists or whatever. I think it's a bunch of guys going down there pitching mealworms and marshmallows with Zebco push button rod and reels. It's there's not one viable thing that somebody can attack that club for. They've done a tremendous amount of work in that lake, and they continue to do so with a very limited staff right now.
Well, we were just before you came in, we were talking about how we thought some of these clubs have to make the push into the new digital age where maybe you could attend these meetings by Zoom and join tournaments just over Venmo. I don't have to drive an hour just to enter it. Like we have to come into the digital age with it.
So, and I will tell you, and that even a couple years ago when, I left the club when I was moving up here, one of the problems that we were facing back then, and I know the club is still facing now, is getting a younger generation involved that can adapt to do that. And it's tough. And I know like Knee Deep Club goes through the same kind of thing. You know, the Simpson brothers, Jeff Simpson, who's been running a club for a while. They got, you know, a younger guy, Mike Connery, who's our age, who does a tremendous amount for the club. But there's only so many hours in a day. And, you know, you try to get some of these older people who have been in this club for 25, 30 years. You can't get them to Zoom a meeting. You can't get them, you know, they don't have the trust in a Venmo type situation. Problem is, look at the junior divisions of our VTA right now. You got very few parents want to invest the time, unfortunately, anymore to get their kids involved in these kind of things. You know, you have the Ron DeGraffs with his son Ronnie and his daughter Sarah, who dominate every time they're on the water. Yanetta, the same kind of thing. I mean, that's really the hope for this club, but there's a real space in between. I mean, there's only so much a 16-year-old kid can do. And then the next gap, and somebody who wants to take over leadership of it is 45, 50, 60 years old. It's tough. There's a big void there, and you got to try to figure out how to get through that void.
I think getting through that void, part of it is to bring that up into the digital age where you have to, like me, I can't drive an hour and a half to go to a meeting on a Thursday night to listen about guys argue about golden shiners. I can't do that. I have other
Okay.
shit.
So you can't do that. And just hear me out, Joe. And you know I love you, brother. You can't do that, but you could find a Saturday to go there and troll up a 13-pound lake trout and win the tournament with it. So it takes a guy like you who is social media adaptable and who knows the in and outs. You don't have to do it one Thursday a month, you know, if you can't, but maybe try to get yourself involved. Join the board. Bring this to.
I donate to all the funds, and the tournament we won, we didn't even take the money. We let the club have it, but I can't go to the meetings. I can't do that.
No, I get it, but what I'm saying is it's going to take somebody like you who is involved with the club to maybe put them on the track and suggest that. I mean, I know they are always open to suggestion and ideas without a doubt. They've got a lot of time.
So far with me, they've been open to nothing.
Well, it depends on how you approach them and who you talk to, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
you know,
well, that's for sure. I mean, the problem is I think a lot of these veteran guys are really resistant to upgrading to like this digital type stuff. But what they have to understand, I think, is that it doesn't mean that the other stuff goes away. You can keep the old way of doing things. You're really just adding another way to do it on top of that. I mean,
yeah,
I get what Scott's saying, though. Like, someone who can actually do it, set it up, have it be that way, has to, I guess, volunteer to do it.
Listen, it's just the way society is going now, and I get it, and I'm not knocking anybody. I know all of our time is precious and everything, but I remember going to those meetings 8-9 years ago. There'd be 50, 60 people in there, and then we'd stop at the Quick Check afterwards in Branchburg and have a meeting after the meeting, and we're there till 1 a.m. Like, the camaraderie ship, everything else is gone. I think that falls, you know, that falls into the hands. I think there's some other issues with Round Valley that end up, unfortunately, in the end, affecting a great group like RVTA. I don't know how much you want to get into those issues or not, but I know a lot of people are disheartened. They don't understand the structure of it. You got guide services that are out there now essentially pushing RVTA's fish on their site, the fish that they stocked, and there's like zero return from that with them. You know, I mean, I don't know. You want to grow membership, take a handful of these guys who are guiding. Like, if I was guiding on that lake, I would sacrifice the $25 out of each trip, and I'd have the guys who I'm hosting out there become members of RVTA. It would give them a 1-year membership out of you. You know, The club
That's
gets
not a
fun.
bad idea.
That is a good idea. But you could
Yeah.
come. You got to join the club. That's not
Yeah.
a bad
Well,
idea.
you don't word it like that. I don't think people
All
are
right.
telling with that.
Scott,
You know,
listen. This conversation is unbelievably interesting, and I love you, but we just don't have time. I got to get Kevin Cool on to let him defend Knee Deep, and then the Ranger game's on, so we're out of here.
Yeah, and I got to
Happy
find the
trails,
bird to
partner.
shoot tomorrow. So,
We're going to watch the Devils lose, so we got to be off here with
dude, stop.
Get
Come
rid
out.
of him. Get
Come
him
out.
out. He's
Happy
gone.
trails, partner.
Cut him.
All right, now we got our special guest next from Lake Hopatcong Guide Service. We got Kevin Cool. What's going on, buddy?
How's it going? How are you? Good to see you.
Kevin.
Joe, nice to see you again.
So Scott Tarnowski just left. He just got.
Hold on a second. Didn't he just fucking say that I was going to introduce you, and then he jumps right in and just does it himself?
You
That's all right.
introduced him. Now I'm talking to him.
I've got the hat on. I'm doing this one.
All right.
You need the teeth on the hat.
All
Go
right,
ahead.
I'll have it next week. I promise you I'll have teeth on this hat next week.
Bet.
All right, so we do want to talk about fishing,
Good.
but real quick, we were talking about the memberships of these big clubs, Knee Deep Club, RVTA, how the membership's going down, things like that. We talked about, they should probably start updating to some kind of digital entries for the contest, digital ways to join the club, pay your dues, stuff like that. What do you think about all this? Like, the memberships dropping, not only not getting enough new memberships, but people not renewing their memberships, not coming back to the club, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you just hit the nail on the head. I actually just became a trustee for the Knee Deep Club. So, and with the same ideas that you have right now, for me, I caught a hybrid striper last year. I was a Knee Deep Club. I was looking to be a Knee Deep Club member, had the form filled out, was just lazy, never got it filled out. I would currently be the Knee Deep Club record holder, but because I didn't get my form submitted and mail it in, which is old school, which we all know, I'm no longer that. I have a lake record, but I'm not a Knee Deep Club record holder.
What does it cost, Kevin? What does it cost to join Knee Deep?
I believe it's either $25 or $30.
Okay.
But just like you said, if there was an online way to register, I would have been registered in 10 minutes, paid for, done deal.
So what do you think? What's the delay in these clubs coming up to this digital? What's taking so long?
I think they see a cost behind it, a paywall that they are trying to figure out if it's worth them going through with that form. Because when you're using a credit card, there's fees attached, so they'd have to figure out all that back end stuff to apply the fee to the consumer or take on the fee themselves. But I think the cost has something to do with it.
What's your opinion on a person like me never coming to one Knee Deep Club meeting, but I watch every single one of them on Zoom?
Well, I mean, I think you should join. I mean, it takes 2 seconds to join. You can even go down to Dow's boat rental at Lake Hopatcong and join right there. Lori will fill your membership out.
No, but I'm saying like instead of me actually coming to the meeting, like if there was an option where I could watch the meeting from Zoom, I
agree with you. That should be a great option.
You agree?
Especially, I do agree.
Okay.
And to touch on the costs, right? I get that, but I think this day and age, and it is kind of sad that people have gotten what some would call lazy. But I think people will be more than willing to pay a convenience charge to just be able to pay their dues or donate money digitally.
I agree.
And as far as, getting someone to actually set this up, someone technologically advanced enough to be able to set this up, I don't know how to do it, but I don't think it's that hard to do for someone who does know how to do it. And I would bet anything that someone on the webpage or that knows someone in the Knee Deep Club or that's listening to this right now would be willing to donate some of their time to help the Knee Deep Club or the RVTA advance their stuff to kind of catch up with the times. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Being in the meeting itself, we're looking for members like that. We're looking for young trustees that want to come in and help propel these clubs to that next level, to those advances that they just are not aware of. These guys have been around the lake forever. They're just not aware of that type of technology. So that's exactly right. That's what the clubs are looking for, is someone that knows the wherewithal to put those kind of processes in place.
And like if someone listening to this right now has those abilities to program something or whatever, to set a website up in a way to do this, or knows what they're doing, but you don't know that much about fishing, but you want to learn how to be a better angler, guess what? You help out in this way, and more than a few people are going to be willing to help you out. Like, for example, I'll tell you right now, if someone volunteers to help the Knee Deep Club upgrade their website or something like that, and they don't have a boat and they don't know how to fish Lake Hopatcong, me and Joe will take them out. You come fishing with us.
Not
I'll
even
tell
like
you whatever
that.
you want to know.
You're in a room with me and Eddie Mack, and both of us have boats. More than willing to take you guys out as well. I'm sure of that.
That's my point.
While
You're
we
going to get more than your money's worth out of it. That's my point.
Absolutely.
I think I gave Eddie Mackin all my info, and I think I sent him money, so I think he signed me up. So I think I'm a Knee Deep member now.
There you go. Come fish the contest with us.
I probably am, but Chris said it's
this weekend.
Well, let's talk some fishing now while we have time. I saw you just.
Yeah.
Oh, first of all, no, I want to ask you something else. In the multi-species mayhem, your big contest is going on with your 3 giveaways. Which picture are you rooting for the most to win?
Well, I was kind of waiting to see, which pictures are taking the lead. I want to look back and see which ones are up there. There's been a lot of traffic the past week, so
yes, there
it's hard
is.
to keep up with all that traffic for sure.
There is a lot there. I was the one
of
of Bruce Litton's kid with the brown trout on the shore. That's the one I picked. But you could only vote once, so it is what it is. But there are a few that are pulling way ahead. I'm sure you'll be probably guiding those trips that win that, right?
Bring them on. Absolutely. Either me or Eddie Mackin will be taking you guys out in those boats. So
awesome. That's all.
I think maybe tomorrow or the next day, for the last couple of days of the contest, we'll maybe pin the pictures that are really far ahead of all the other pictures. Maybe we'll pin them to the top.
We'll put them up.
Something like that, just so it's easier to kind of see what's going on. Well, but yeah, we completely lost control. We completely lost control of that page.
We didn't expect it to get that crazy, but we'll still sort
all the hats and all the pictures. It's crazy.
I saw you just finished 3rd in some tournament somewhere. What was that about?
I don't know about 3rd, but we took first at the Spruce. Yeah, me and Brendan Hilly.
Didn't you come in 3rd in like a bass tournament somewhere?
That was first.
He won the bass tournament.
Oh, he won it. All right, even better. First is better than 3rd.
You're thinking of John Dorn. John Dorn got his ass beat by Kevin Cool right here. That's why we kicked John Dorn out and we brought Kevin Cool on.
Listen, I take credit for being a local to the lake, so that's all there is to it. Being able to fish it whenever I want. So.
Oh man.
But yeah, me and my buddy, we fished that lake hard for 2 weeks, preparing for it. After John Dorn, hit us up saying you guys should join, kind of patternized it really well and put a good plan in place. And
so you could when you join that club, you can then pick the partner on your boat. So
this was an open buddy tournament, so we do not belong to that club. But yes, you could pick your partner
in the open buddies. Okay. Yeah, it seems fun. Are you fishing the walleye contest on a pack-on this weekend?
Absolutely.
I think I might too. Or should I just not bother?
Do it. I even have a spot on my boat. Me and my brother-in-law are going on our boat. You're more than welcome.
I'm not going on your boat. I'm going on my boat. I'm going to beat you.
He's going to try to beat you.
Yeah, I want to beat you.
We can fish against each other on the same boat, whatever you want.
I don't like that as much.
I like to just look around the lake and find Aaron where he's sticking stickers. He's putting Lake Hopatcong stickers on stuff.
Getting the name out there any way we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever. I went out there one night at I was slow trolling for walleye. He's under Brady Bridge at 1 a.m. sticking Lake Hopatcong Guide Services to the bridge. I'm like, oh, that's great.
Well, you're
Cannot
just
confirm
gonna
or
blow
deny.
him. Now you're basically just calling him a vandalizer right on the podcast.
Yeah, unreal.
Yeah, sorry, Aaron. It doesn't matter. No one would ever be able to find them anyway. What's the difference?
I
He's
mean,
got-
I can't find them.
True.
Kevin, can you find them?
No,
I have a little bit easier time finding them since my boat's parked at his house, so
I
I can
just
find them a
can't.
little easier.
I always start panicking and just call Jason Taint right away, and he finds them for me.
Dude, Kevin,
Jake's
let me
always
tell you
there.
something. This one day, this guy is fishing off of a dock. Me and Joe are fishing in I think it was my boat. We're fishing in Lake Hopatcong. And this guy who looks like a lesbian Santa Claus is fishing off of this dock. And he's got his back turned to us. And he goes,
Oh, boy.
That's Jason. That's Jason. I'm like, that's not Jason. What are you talking about? And for about 30 minutes, we're fishing this area, and this guy would not turn around, and Joe wouldn't let me leave because he wanted to prove to me that this was Jason. 30 fucking minutes.
Jesus.
We wasted fishing, and we already fished out the spot, but I can't move. Finally, the guy turns around. He goes, "Oh no, that's lesbian Santa Claus. That ain't Jason." And we just left.
30 minutes gone.
30 minutes wasted because Joe couldn't stop arguing with me.
Kevin, let me ask you this. This time of year right now, it just turned May. Walleye season's open now to keep. If these people that are going to win Thursday, let's say they are interested in using their free pass right away, what would they be going out and doing at this time with you guys?
Jeez, I mean, there's so many different bites going on right now. We got the blacked out crappie still piling up in the shallows. We're still picking away at them, especially with the water cooling off. We were seeing water temperatures up to 65 degrees when we had those hot days. Yesterday, when we were out getting beat up by the rain, it was down to 53, 54. So, I mean, it cooled off really drastically in the shallows. So the crappie are going to hold on for a while. Stripers are all moving up shallow. Walleyes up shallow. So you really have your pick at anything in the lake.
Any herring starting to pop yet at night?
No, not popping, but they're definitely moving into the shallows.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Is Dow's capturing them in their traps and have them available already?
Oh, yeah. You can get as much herring as you
Yeah.
want. Dow's is loaded up.
All right. So
Yeah.
at the current time, if you win an open boat trip, going crappie fishing's the ticket right now.
Crappie fishing, striper fishing, whatever we're figuring out during the week is what they'll be going for.
Nice.
Whatever's the best bite.
I'm probably gonna
You're
go.
basically
Whatever open boat these winners decide to go on, I'm probably gonna pay and go too. I'm going with them, just to
Right
go.
on.
So I'll be
so
there.
they get to fish, and they get to mock you the whole time.
They get to, I don't know. Maybe Aaron will give me like a coupon or something. Like
Maybe.
I'll ask
Nah,
him.
Maybe.
If
nah,
I ever call,
I'm-
we'll see.
So-
they'll be done with their trips and have pictures before I find him anyway. So
All right, so maybe you don't want to talk about it because the contest is coming up and you don't want to give out any secrets, but are there any tips that you want to give for people walleye fishing Lake Hopatcong the next coming few weeks?
like me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you can use any tactics right now. There's multiple bites. You got the shallow bite, which is awesome this time of year. A lot of walleyes are moving transitionally through the shallows to and from spawning grounds, and then you have the deep stuff. So primarily what I'm using, jerk baits, live bait, even jig and deep. Anything works. I mean, you can simple Google search will tell you what to use for walleyes, but any jerk bait works. Rapalas are great lures. We live by them. So Rapalas work great. I would just throw a Rapala.
And also, if you didn't know any of that, if you walked into Dow's, she would help you with exactly what you need anyway. She knows exactly what catch. So
Lori's the goat.
Right.
She'll tell you exactly what we're doing, exactly what's the best lure, what's the best selling, and she'll put you right where you need to be.
Yep, I agree with that.
There's no real secrets when it comes to, like, you want to go to Lake Hopatcong and you want to catch fish, like, you're going to be pointed in the right direction. I mean,
Absolutely. And shoot, if
there's
you want to
little
rent a
things
little,
here.
even if you
What
want
was
to rent a little boat, they have cheap boat rentals. You can rent a boat for a day, and she'll tell you right where to go.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Oh yeah.
So
And just to be
Go ahead.
clear, for these contests, you can use live bait, you can use lures, like at the more crap you get out there and the more tactics you use, the better chance you're going to have, obviously. And it's all, free game. Like anything goes when it comes to that.
Yep.
What's your strategy? Ooh, what is your strategy going into a tournament like this? Are you focusing on night fishing, or are you focusing on mornings, sunsets? Or you're just going to fish the whole weekend?
All the above. Definitely the three times of the day you just mentioned: night, morning, and right before dark. Best time for walleyes. And
would you, at the current time, doing better on the troll or casting for them?
I rarely troll for walleyes, so casting definitely.
Okay, so you don't do the macking thing.
We slow troll the shallows, don't get me wrong, but you'll get walleyes right now, but that's primarily not what my focus is. It's more towards the stripers. Since the stripers you can catch stripers in 3 foot of water right now. Crazy enough as that sounds, the hybrids are moving right through, and you catch them slow trolling really shallow diving jerk baits that dive probably 1 to 1.5 foot deep.
Are they
right above that weeds?
Are the hybrids like starting to be packed up, or are they coming through and like?
Oh yeah,
they're packed up already.
Oh yeah.
Chris?
Yeah. So one real quick question. So like when you Google, let's say you don't know anything about walleye fishing, you go on there, you Google walleye fishing. Obviously you get all that northern, that Canada, Wisconsin, like places like that. That's where walleye fishing is huge, and that's what the type of stuff's going to come up. And you see like just these whacked out crazy colored lures that these guys are using for walleye. Do you think that these wacky ass colors actually do anything with these walleye here in New Jersey? Because I feel like the walleye we have here are not even the same species that these guys are walleye fishing for up in those northern areas.
So it's so funny you just brought this up. And this brings you back to 2 years ago. Walked into Lori's and said, hey, just picking her brain. I know how to fish. But I was like, what's a hot lure? What do you guys sell a lot of? She's like, this crazy color lure right here. Eddie Mack and Special, she called it. I'm like, what? This thing, I'm telling you what, it was the most colored up thing I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, give me a couple of them. I'll throw them in my box. I'll try them out one night. This past 3 weeks ago now, we trolled natural jerk baits through the shallows, 3 passes, not a touch. I didn't go 10 feet with the Eddie Mack and Special. Bang, that rod is going zinged off the back. 6-pound striper.
So there you go. That's the
100 yards more, caught another one. So it definitely does make a difference. Absolutely. Color is everything.
Go into Dow's and demand an Eddie Mack and Special immediately. That's the only way.
I mean, I don't know what it is.
I could probably guess what it is. I'm not gonna here, but I could take a shot.
I could tell you, but I'm going to leave it. You have to go to Lori's to find out.
That's a deal.
You know what? I don't want to know. I want to find out from Dow's. I want to
find
out from Lori.
I have 10 of them already. Kevin,
you know.
Kevin, awesome of you to come on. I really appreciate it. I haven't actually gotten to fish with you yet. I hope we get to fish together soon.
I got to fish right alongside you that one day when you were on a trip and I was.
You know what? Everyone has fished alongside me, but not with me, except this asshole. But I've been in proximity to everyone. But
hey, you guys are more than welcome anytime. Just hit me up.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, we got to get together for sure.
Absolutely. Thanks, boys. I appreciate the time.
Okay, so a lot of information packed into this episode. We're pretty much just working our way to episode 10, and then we're going to revamp our whole show because 10 seems to be like the milestone number for a podcast. This podcast seems like everyone's interested enough for us to keep doing it, so we're going to keep doing it.
And we're not going to change what we're doing. We're just going to, get some better equipment and stuff like that.
We're going to bring in new equipment and better podcasting stuff, and the whole podcast is going to up itself in quality. But again, we need the YouTube subscribers. I have more people in the Facebook group than I have subscribers on YouTube. So who are you? There's like hundreds of you. You got to just click subscribe on YouTube. You got to hit the subscribe button. Continue to.
If I find out if I find out that you got a hat on the group page and you didn't subscribe to the YouTube channel, whoo!
Okay, and other than that, next week, Chris, who do we have coming on? We have a lot of people booked already, right?
Yeah, I got how far ahead do you want me to go? I got the next
I know we have Yanetta coming on for bass season because he's going to bring the bass lures on for bass season, correct?
That's for later on, first week of June.
We have Jerry Pastorino, captain of the Fishmonger. He's coming on. That's very exciting for us.
That's going to be May 22nd.
Okay, and who's next week?
Next week we got Chase Grossman.
He's Chase,
avid fisherman.
Right.
Yeah, he's an avid fisherman. Does pretty much everything, just like us.
He's the guy that told me I'm just a complete Shad idiot. He told me that. Well, the Bollinger brothers and him.
You did deserve it, but
listen, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go the same as I always go. The last 2 weeks of May, and I'm gonna put up pictures of shad. That's what I mean. They're just that's when I go.
Be dead, washed up on the shore, and you're just gonna pick them up and take a picture of them.
I've gone the first week of June and crushed 100.
I'm not getting into this with you because
and Andrew Yutko's done it too. Ask Yutko. Yutko will be out there in the first week of June fishing. You watch.
Are you done?
I'm done. Good night, everyone. There was a lot of information in this podcast, so if you have any comments, go into the Mayhem page, follow us on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, like Chris's hat, and hit the subscribe button. Hit it.
Happy trails, partners.